So, welcome back to another episode of the Backholder Pod. So, this week we have a special episode dropped by CNA Insider with the title Tips on How to Calculate and Reach Your Long Term Savings Target. So, I think in this episode, he actually featured a friend of ours, I think Keith from Investment Modes. He basically walked through his own retirement lifestyle. I think he's semi-retired, or I think he's FIRE, meaning he's really financially independent, but is still working currently with Provident. But that said, I think the focus here would be on how he managed to achieve that FIRE figure, and his lifestyle needs and stuff like that. But I think I just wanted to read off a comment that was one of the more popular ones in the under the video comments below. So from Sticky Money, he said that hats off for achieving FIRE at 40 plus. But one has to keep in mind that Keith has a house paid for, single, and not sandwiched between caring for his parents and children. And in that light, how applicable is Keith's uncommon circumstances to the general population? Such is the disconnect that is commonly found in the mainstream media. Also, it's scary to think that despite Keith's discipline and mindful efforts to accumulate wealth of around 900,000 by 40 plus, he would still financially be struggling to keep up with much of Singaporeans' aspiration. So I think to kickstart this entire discussion, right, before we talk about Keith, the case study, his retirement, etc., CNA actually in the description of the video said that young adults in Singapore told MoneyMind that they think they'll need a $5,000 a month for retirement. So maybe let's start the discussion from there. Maybe Eric, not to single you out or not saying that you are closest to retirement, right? But do you think young adults, I will consider you part of the young adult group. Do you think $5,000 a month for retirement is enough or sufficient for your lifestyle?
You can call me young senior soon. 5 more years to young senior. So 5,000 5,000 I think should be enough lah for one packs, right? One
There's
pack.
not much context there, but I presume that like for your retirement, 5,000 should be one packs.
Mm,
But maybe one extra layer or one nuance here is that when you talk about young adults, right? Maybe they're in their 30s, let's say 30s lah. So meaning when they retire, that would be another 30 years time. So you have to do a discounting where like 5,000 next time. Like if you do a discounting to 30 years now, it's probably closer to 2 to 2.5K, I presume lah, if we do
mm.
that calculation.
2.5K, I think for day-to-day living is should not be much of an issue, right? For me lah, I think it's okay. I think when I monitor my spending is around there also 2,000 plus. Can enough
Okay, what about Calvin?
Actually, for me, 5K if is more than enough for the entire family lah. So, if the guy say that he need 5K for a single person, that's quite extreme. So, because there's this minimum income standard study done by some universities last year, they found that for a single elderly, they will need about like $1,600 to retire comfortably. So that includes like entertainment, food, transport, healthcare, all this kind of thing. That's 1,600. So you're talking about like 3 times what the study found. So that's quite extreme. Plus, the CPF actually factors this in already, right? So they have the full retirement sum, which is like double that of the basic retirement sum. The basic retirement sum is based on the most basic living expenses of someone who doesn't need to pay a rent. So they're just times 2 to get like the 1,600 number, the payout from full retirement sum. So if you say that you need like 5,000 to retire, I don't know, are you like paying for your house even if you are in your 60s? Are you still paying for your COE? Are you still paying for your kids' education? I think something must be something very extreme to hit like 5K a month during retirement. Yeah.
I think, sorry, I just want to add a side note. I stand corrected. I went to scrub through the CNA video. Not that I didn't watch. I watched it a few days ago, but I forgot already. I think it's $5,000 in present value because they did do a calculation of using a 3.5% withdrawal. They need around 5.6 million to retire in future value in the future. So discounting to 5,000 present value. So I think maybe to provide extra context, right, to when Eric and Kelvin was talking about it, I recently came across this OCBC Wellness Index. They basically try to survey different youngsters on what the type of retirement lifestyle that they want to achieve. So if you really benchmark yourself into that $5,000 term, right, you are basically traversing between staying in a HDB private property, being able to go to holiday, whether is it regionally 3 times a year versus international holidays for 2 times a year. I think it's basically the quality of life that they are trying to pursue in this case. So if we do that 3 pillar, I think then I'll open the question to Bunti, right? So Bunti, now if you look at the 3 core pillars or the 3 different retirement lifestyles that we see from the OCBC Wellness Index, without telling you, like, I now withhold the information because I only give you the screenshot, right? I don't tell you what is the current Singaporean aspiration breakdown, meaning you don't know how many percent like A, how many percent like B. Where would you benchmark yourself against in this 3 pillar? And what's your expected income that you need?
Yeah, just one glance, I think that I definitely in the lifestyle A, which is like, commute via public transport and so on. No domestic helper. I think I checked all of them.
But that's your current lifestyle, right? What if projecting out when you are retiring, which is 30 years later, you don't want to live better, or in some cases, some people like to say live like a king, right?
Don't know leh. I don't think I want to change my lifestyle now. It's not like I have a lifestyle that I aspire to. I'm fine with my current positions. A is good, I think. Cheapo, you ask a cheapo guy give you a cheapo answer.
So just extra, like based on the research, right? So for lifestyle A, it's around 35% of the respondents.
Wait,
For
before
lifestyle
that,
B,
before that, what's the percentage? It's like you ask people like ABC, choose one. Then people say, which one do you like? Of course, people will choose C, right?
actually, surprisingly, I think there is an element of realism, meaning they're pragmatic, like what they can achieve, rather than just say that, oh, we all want a better lifestyle. So the breakdown here is 35% A, 41% B, and 24% C. So you can see the overwhelming majority, I think 76% is A and B, which is the maximum is maybe a regional trip 3 times a year, that kind, and staying in HDB and having a part-time domestic helper. So that's the what. But I believe this group is not a very good group to ask because all 3 of them are very cheapo. So they're all going to stay in lifestyle A. But that said, I think this is just the nature of the discussion. So now if we move on, right, we move into Keith's, because Keith was the main star of the video. So he did explain his journey, right, about how much money he managed to save and whatnot. Maybe Kelvin, I think you're closest. Is it Kelvin or Bunti closest to Keith? Do y'all both, either one of y'all, want to like maybe share your thoughts on him as a friend and his whole journey? I think he has been blogging for quite some time already. So I think y'all know him quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll open the Bunti.
I think that interview, right, although it highlight a few points, right, but I think the main key point behind this entire 5-year retirement early things, right, they didn't capture the most important thing. Based on my understanding, it's not like Keith is someone who has, like 50K salary, hence he's able to retire early. It's not that. First thing, of course, he's frugal in his lifestyle. That's true. But one thing people, or I mean, the general comment miss is that he actually have a side income, which is his blog, Investment Modes. And judging from Investment Modes readerships, right, then and all the sponsorship and things, right, actually he's like maybe I'll put him same category as Kelvin, right, as a content creator, has extra income earning, I don't know how much he earned, but I don't think it's a small amount. I think that one actually helped him reach his retirement goal a lot faster than average people. And that was not mentioned at all in that interview, I think.
I have to add though, I don't see that much sponsorships on his channel. But I can roughly guess how much he's earning because he's putting on blog, so his AdSense revenue will be quite pathetic as compared to not to say that it's bad, because that's the truth, right? For blog, the ads, you have to click onto the ads for him to earn money. But for video, you just have to not do anything, have to not skip the ads, right? You will straight away earn the money. So plus the ad rate probably is on YouTube is higher so you can roughly guess how much he's earning, but it's not significant
No, I don't think most of them come from the ads. It will come from all the referrals. For example, he would just say, okay, if you want to sign up Interactive Broker, use my link here. I think those add ups. Yeah.
Yeah, it will still add up over time, but it's not as much as you might think. Yeah.
But you all never answer my question. So I think as a friend, you all want to comment much on his journey. I believe you all have followed him, right? Like for some time. So you all want to talk a little bit about his philosophy. I think he also did some pivot. Last time he was a dividend investor. Then he pivoted to doing a global index fund. I mean, we're not trying to say what's right or wrong or tell you that what's his what. But maybe you all want to draw out his journey and maybe your learnings from him, if any.
I think the one that I got from his notes isn't so much about the investment side. Although I know in the early years he posted a lot more on talking about investing, but I think right now his focus is mainly on personal finance, talk about retirement, and then he has a very strong view in terms of like how you structure your retirement, like all the 4% withdrawal rule, these kind of things. So he's really into that. He's very geeky about that. And then if you want to have any discussion related to these topics, he's the person to go to. Kelvin?
Yeah, not much on his journey, but I think he did everything right. The comments say that he had unfair advantage, right? His house fully paid for, he's single, he don't have a kid. But I would say that even if you have all this, right? Okay, let's say if you have a kid, that means you have a wife, right? Or a husband, right? So that's double the income. We should still be more significant as a single person. But I would say that for CNA, they estimated the amount to you need like what 5 million to retire, which is very clickbaity. I think they were using something like 3% inflation rate or something like that.
It's 5.6 million, 3.5% withdrawal rate,
right,
and 3% inflation.
3% inflation. So okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a retirement calculator that I did a while back. So it says, okay, right now you are 30 years old, you plan to retire at 65. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. Then the CNA says that you need like 5K, right? Okay, let's just use the numbers. That means your transport every month, you take Grab, you pay for your COE car, $1,000, food, $1,500, leisure, $1,000. Get everything out to $5,000 lah. Post-retirement expense, let's say after you retire, you still keep that kind of 5K expenses lah. And the inflation, I'll just use Singapore's average inflation rate lah. Don't use CNA's 3%. Quite insane. So even so, it still add up to only like how is this that okay, you know that. Okay, so okay, so I'm assuming you have 20K in savings now, and investments you have $1,000. You're investing $1,000 every month, and you probably get a return of about 7%. CPF life payout right now for full retirement sum is about 1,007. So I project 30 years in the future, so that's about 3,006 month payout when you turn 65 lah. So let's see. So there will be a shortfall. Assuming you have 5K expenses, there will be a shortfall about around 83 years old. You run out of money lah. So, but that's based on 5K expenses lah. So you can, if you just reduce your retirement expenses by maybe 20%, you will never run out of money lah, assuming nothing else changes.
I thought start at 5 million. How come yours is started at much smaller amount?
So yeah, my 5 million is not in there because I don't look at the full amount. Because you have the investment returns ma. So as long as the investment returns is higher, it's the safe withdrawal rate lah. So as long as the amount that you're earning from investment is higher than expenses, then you are safe lah.
I think Kelvin's calculator focuses more on how much you need to contribute monthly.
Yeah, so
and using the assumptions like whether is it enough or not.
Yeah, I'm using a very extreme example lah. So with 5K expenses, let's say inflation is like even like 3%, right? You still run out a bit of money near the end, 84. But this is quite easily doable, right? Because the shortfall is only about like $119,000. So maybe your investments, you're investing only $1,000 a month, maybe just increase by 2005. You won't have any shortfall already. So in the comments, they are saying that Keith. So they are saying Keith like has a lot of unfair advantage, this kind of thing. I think it's not about him, right? Have that much unfair advantage, because how much can a house, because he's living in HDB, so it's only affecting his CPF, right? Not his cash. Same for others who are buying house using CPF also. So there's not much of an unfair advantage lah. It's just your own expenses that's too high. That's
Yeah.
all.
I think he has unfair advantage versus average Singaporean. The unfair advantage that he has is that he don't spend much. So this one, if you compare against average people, right, they will just, like spend a lot more, right? So when you are comparing the financial, of course, you will lose out on. So even if he has like a family, let's say he has a wife and then the wife not working and then he have 2 kids, maybe he will still, like fare much better financially just because of like the lifestyle, because there's no upside, there's no limit on how much you can spend. You can be earning 30,000, 40,000, also not enough just because of your spending. But for him, it's like, okay, just spending a low amount of money, and he know how to save money here and there. I think that's the more important one.
Yeah, riding on that point, right, there's a comment also on that video saying that he's able to find happiness in simple, basic life. No need to bash him. If you guys need to have children, fancy car, phone, restaurant, flashy clothes, holiday, in order to be quote unquote happy, then you'll pay with your miserable working life. Nobody wins here. I think maybe we wanted Eric to comment on this. Quite interesting, you think about it, like people that don't know him can project their assumptions on him and say that what is happy or not happy, and think that, yeah, maybe Eric, you got a personal experience or stuff like that
Personal experience of what?
of people projecting their assumptions on you.
Oh, I think it's quite common. People do that all the time. Like I used to do that also. Like I used to think that, oh, wow, this guy earns so much, probably has no life, or a dog's life, like just work 18 hours a day and then sleep 4 hours a day, those kind of thing. Yeah. So our because the if you are like an employee, right, which is majority of the people your idea is, I work harder, I earn more money, I spend more. So that is like their paradigm lah. That's how they think mah. So when they see other people doing like extremely well, right, then they're like, oh, must be work like a dog lor. Like never go holiday, no life, no wife, no kids. Then have big house, but very miserable, every day crying, stress, depression. So they will think of all these things, they'll say all these things, because
Do you think it's a extension of like a defense mechanism? They need to justify
yeah,
that
it's
either they're
something,
not making enough money, or if they work too hard, like you're not enjoying life.
a little bit of a defense mechanism, but also a little bit of uh they have never been there mah, so how would they know? Like I think I once saw a video, right, by this guy called Andrew Tate. I think you guys know who is he lah. Obviously he's very brash. He like to say a lot of very provocative things just to stir the pot, make everyone notice him. But one thing he say is, I find that quite makes a lot of sense. So he say that guys, if you're looking at me buying all these Bugatti and all these cars, what $1 million cars, and live in the palace, and fly private jets, and you're still thinking I need to work harder to get all these things, I really cannot save you. So do you know what he's trying to imply? He's trying to imply that you cannot work hard to earn this kind of money. Like there's no way you work 24/7, also you cannot get it. So you really need to think and another way, not the way that you're earning money now. You never get to that kind of lifestyle. I mean, not saying that everyone aspire to that kind of lifestyle. I'm just saying that if you think that that's how people earn money, right, then you probably is because you don't know enough. That's why you will start to imagine and project and fill in the blanks. Yeah. So, but what I can say is, in my own experience, I think that people who actually earn a lot, right, they use some kind of leverage lah in their life. Give you one very simple example. Just look at Kelvin. He used media leverage. So one person work, right? He can project to 100,000 people. So the income that he earns from serving these 100,000 people is very different from, like, for example, if I'm a teacher, right? I teach a class of like 20 people. So I spend that 2 hours teaching one class of 20 people. Kelvin spent that same 2 hours, he teach like 50,000 people. What is there a difference in the income? You bet there is, right? Like, so that's the kind of different games that people are playing in life, lor. And if you're only used to the kind that, oh, I only teach 20 people, and you don't have any idea of leverage, right? You'll be thinking like, wow, look at that Kelvin. Wow, so rich. I must work like a dog, man, in order to afford whatever car he's driving. I mean, assuming that he drives a car lah. Like, imagine if people see him driving a Ferrari, like, wow, sure, he sold his life to the devil. So yeah, people would love to make up their own conclusion and all that, because they don't know the game that Kelvin is playing, how he's earning his money. Yeah. So I mean, if that answers your question or not, I'm not very sure lah. But that's my interpretation. Why people project?
So if we circle back to this video, right? You watch finish already. Do you have any takeaway?
Keith's
Oh.
video, is it?
Yeah, Keith's video.
Oh, actually, I only have one thought that came into my mind. I was thinking his eczema is quite bad. Maybe I should, because my son also got eczema, ma. So I'm just thinking like, wow, I see his forearm here. I think his eczema quite bad. Maybe you need to apply some moisturizing cream. That's not the point of the video lah, but that's what I'm attracted to.
Is it a Singapore thing though? Is it because we're very humid or very
Could
hot?
could be. I know of quite a few friends who are like that. They have very bad flare-ups whenever the weather is like very hot and all that. And so magically, right, when they go overseas, right, wow, their skin, wow, hua liu liu, then they come back and flare up again. So I think it could partially probably our climate not so good.
Can anyone want to make some concluding thoughts before we close this? Lai, Kelvin?
Wow, concluding thought. I think concluding thought is one view that I always see is that Singaporeans especially the average people, tend to hate the richer Singaporeans. I don't know
What is
why.
average people? You want to
So,
clarify
so
first?
basically, people who earn the normal job, work as a salaryman, 9 to 6, that kind, right? Then they see people who drive a car, do better than them. Then they start to hate them, right? Oh, wow, this guy drive BMW. He must be an asshole. I see the guy who got into the Tampines accident that day. That guy is an asshole. Then they go and label all the BMW people as an asshole. I think rather than trying to project your own insecurities onto everyone else, you can also see that in the comment section, right? Just within the CNA video, all the Suan Ming, all the sour grapes come out of their holes. Wow, HDB paid off this guy. But actually, you go and do a calculation. I already showed you the calculation. It doesn't matter already. Got or no HDB, got HDB or not, I think Keith can handle it alone. So if he can, I think everyone else can. So I think rather than trying to say other people how well, it's probably better to work on your own self first with your own thinking lah. Because I don't know who said this quote lah. I think it's some Queen Elizabeth or something. So let me find that quote.
Wow, Kelvin upgrade already. Start to quote Queen Elizabeth.
I don't know who lah. Maybe it's the Queen. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Punti also. I don't know. So he say that be careful of what you think, because your thoughts will become what you say lah. What your words. Then be careful of what you say, because that will turn into your actions ma. Then be careful of your actions, because they will form your habits. Then be careful of your habits, because they will become your life lah. So your habits will become your life. So whatever you think will eventually affect how you live your life lah. So if you think that you will never reach there, then of course you will never reach there lah. But for Keith, he believes that he can do it, then of course he can do it lah. So that's the quote.
That's a great ending to this discussion. Feel free to leave in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.